Women started vanishing in Alaska. At first, no one thought much of it. A missing person here, a young woman there, life in a remote state could explain it. But soon, patterns emerged. All the women were young. Many worked as exotic dancers or on the fringes of Anchorage's nightlife, and each disappeared without a trace. No witnesses, no immediate evidence, just absence. And over time, law enforcement realized these weren't accidents. Someone was hunting, and the wilderness was their perfect cover.
I guess maybe it made me feel masculine or powerful or in control of my life.
September 12, 1982. Two off-duty Alaska police officers were hunting in a remote stretch of forest, about 20 miles from Anchorage. The only way in or out was by boat or plane. They weren't expecting to find anything unusual. But as they crossed a sandbar on the Kinnick River, one of them spotted something in the dirt. A boot, partially buried. As they got closer, they realized the boot contained a human leg bone. They marked the location on their map and left the area untouched. The next day, a crime scene team returned. They unearthed more remains. A young woman, dressed in clothing that had been hastily redressed, a hospital bandage wrapped around her head, and evidence of 3 gunshot wounds. The autopsy confirmed homicide. Dental records identified her as Sherry Morrow, 23, an exotic dancer from Anchorage, missing for 10 months. Investigators scored her last known movements. Sherry had told friends she was meeting a professional photographer for a paid photo shoot the day she vanished, but no photographer had ever been found. Sherry's case wasn't the first. 2 years earlier, 2 other women had been discovered in the same remote area. One was unidentifiable. The other was Joanne Messina, 24, also an exotic dancer. No evidence linked the deaths, but privately, some officers suspected a serial killer. June 13th, 1983. A man driving down a quiet Anchorage highway noticed a terrified young girl running toward him. She had no pants, one handcuff on her wrist, and was screaming for help. He stopped and let her into his car. The girl, 17-year-old Cindy Poulsen, couldn't speak clearly at first. She just begged to be taken to a motel. Once inside, she began to recount her ordeal. The night before, she had been working the streets when a man, wiry with glasses, asked for her services. Thinking he was harmless, she went with him. Inside his car, he handcuffed her wrist and pulled a gun. He drove her to a house, then to a basement, where he chained her from the ceiling and assaulted her for hours. Later, he took her to a small plane and was preparing to fly her to a remote cabin. Cindy realized the danger. This man had revealed too much: his house, his car, his hunting trophies. If she didn't escape, she would die. When he turned his back in the plane's cockpit, she leapt out. She ran for her life through the hangar, across the forest, and eventually flagged down the man who drove her to safety. Cindy's story led police to Robert Hansen, a seemingly ordinary man with a downtown bakery and a passion for hunting. At first, Hansen had an alibi. Friends confirmed he had been with them the night Cindy escaped. Without evidence, police couldn't act. Meanwhile, more bodies were being discovered. On September 2nd, 1983, construction workers uncovered the remains of Paula Goulding, 17, also an exotic dancer, who went missing months earlier. Near her body, investigators found a .223 shell casing, the same caliber as the round found at Sherry Morrow's gravesite. Ballistics confirmed the same rifle had been used in both murders. The connection was undeniable. A serial killer was operating in Anchorage. The FBI profiler John Douglas was brought in. His profile described a man in his 40s, outwardly normal, successful, well-liked, and an experienced outdoorsman with a significant speech defect. It fit Hansen perfectly. A search warrant was issued, and investigators combed through Hansen's property. What they uncovered was deeply incriminating. A .223 rifle, a bag filled with women's jewelry, including Sherry Morrow's necklace, and a hunting map, marked with 37 X's, many of which matched the locations where bodies had been found. At the same time, a neighbor withdrew an earlier alibi, eliminating Hansen's final line of defense. Confronted with the mounting evidence, Hansen confessed, though at first he admitted only to the 4 murders already known to authorities. Hansen admitted to a chilling routine. He would target vulnerable young women, often exotic dancers or prostitutes. He would approach them under the guise of photography. Once alone, he would handcuff them, draw a weapon, and transport them to remote locations. Some, like Cindy Paulson, escaped. Most were not so lucky. Hansen would take victims to his cabin, blindfold them, then release them into the wilderness, knowing they would not survive. He would track them, wound them, and finish them with gunshots. Finally, he would redress and bury them in shallow graves. Even with his confessions, Hansen never revealed all of his victims. Investigators confirmed 17 graves. Many believe there were more, hidden in the Alaskan wilderness, forever. Robert Hansen was sentenced to life in prison, without the possibility of parole. He died in 2014, taking many secrets with him.
But I'd drive from work, drive uptown in a hurry, and sit there and just look at the prostitutes walking up and down the street. It'd give me this here sexual big blow-up charge. I got this thrill out of when they would open the door, it was something, a key turned over from right to wrong to right again, where it was all right on these here prostitutes. I could do things with them that I couldn't do with a good one.
If you enjoy stories like this, subscribe, like, and turn on your notification, so you don't miss what comes next.